Hello, and Dick in Hand Productions presents another video, walking through Lublin. What's the topic today, Mr. Tusk?
Topic is lethargy and apathy in approaching, which is actually the biggest one of the biggest kind of pillars of or reasons why people don't get the results with cold approach. They're just not willing to put the numbers in, so they just don't do the numbers required. And that's obviously coming from a place of anxiety. But a problem with guys that have been doing this longer and for periods of time, they've kind of been there, done that to a large degree, is the opposite, which is almost an apathy to the approach. They're not really anxious about it. They're just like, can't be arsed, right?
Yeah.
Can't be arsed.
And I've got a story about this myself, because I've been documenting in my recent videos, the ones I've been doing on my own, about my lethargy with this whole thing. And I think, libido going up and down and all that kind of stuff. But like today, I was telling you, I went to get the old haircut, the old barnet trimmed. And I saw the woman who should have been my future ex-wife crossing the street. She wore, really beautiful girl, absolutely my type, probably Ukrainian, whatever. And she walked past, and it was really hot. It's like the middle of the day, and I didn't go and speak to her or anything, and it wasn't really approach anxiety in the sense that I was rooted to the spot, scared, because obviously I've done that process so many times before. I knew I could have walked up to her and started a conversation. She may have rejected me, she may have really liked me, whatever. It wouldn't, but I wasn't nervous about the outcome. But it was more just that lethargy of shall I bother? And I was just sitting there, I was like, no, I can't be bothered. Didn't bother. Then she walked on a little bit, and I thought, maybe I could go and have a chat. And then I went to go and talk to her, and then she went into a building, so the opportunity was gone. So that is that kind of a thing, isn't it? It's that lethargy, it's that sort of not fear, just not being bothered to do it, really.
Right. Yeah, exactly that. I'm just finding us a restaurant. So watch until the end of this video, because we're going to give you the three takeaways, the actionable takeaways which kind of solve this problem. But it's something that comes up time and again, and it's a weird head fuck, isn't it? Because it's, especially when you've got success. I mean, for me, there was no lethargy up to the point where I'd done a lot of things, basically sexually, that I'd wanted to do. Yeah. But past that point, it just gets a bit wishy-washy in your brain, because you're going out, you're doing the same old things, the same repeatable process. Most of the girls you approach, you doesn't go anywhere. Then some, it does go somewhere, and it's like great. But then you move to another place, blah 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 blah. So it's a bit of a weird.
It is weird though, isn't it? And I'm speaking for myself.
Speaking to yourself now?
Speaking to myself and for myself.
Right.
Are you even really here? Is this some weird kind of Fight Club situation? But speaking for myself, as much as I've been saying in recent videos, I just can't be bothered anymore and blah, blah, blah. The reality is, when you're sitting in the hotel lobby with a McDonald's and a cup of tea, at 11:30 at night, and you're thinking, well, actually, it would be quite nice if I was out on a date. The reason for that is, we only have ourselves to blame, right? Because if you'd have gone out and actually just done the approaching, then, my contention that my libido is totally gone and I'm just not interested anymore is not really true. Right. I still want to engage in dating and, having cool times with girls. It's just that the being bothered to go through the process sometimes is lacking.
Right. Yeah, I can see our battery is flashing on red. How long have we been going for on this video?
We can go a few minutes. I mean, we could go for a little bit longer, I think.
Yeah, so, look, the three takeaways here are, I think the three things to solve this problem. First of all, establish your why. So it's that kind of Nietzsche-esque thing of you find your why and you can overcome any what and any how, and just reminding yourself of the goals. Like, for instance, I was umming and ahhing just now about doing Spanish, right? But I was going to sack off because I didn't feel like I wanted to do it, but I reconnected it with the goal of what I had, which is basically to get really good conversation from Spanish before I go back to Day of the Dead in Mexico this year. So I was like, okay, forget feelings, it's just about I'm putting the action in to get to the goal I chose, right?
Yeah.
So connecting to the why. So if you're in doubt, go back to establishing actually what you want from dating. Now that's going to change. When we got stuck into this, fuck. Oh no, it's a green man. Decoy. When I started this, it really was just bang as much as possible. I was lining up 3-4 dates on a Sunday. My local bar, By the third and fourth day, I was pretty sloshed. I'm just trying to pull girls back. I didn't really give a fuck about anything else. It was all about validating the ego. Now, I'm travelling around, and I'm happy with one or 2 dates a week with a cool girl. You know, and if it doesn't pan out, I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I've moved beyond dating. Obviously, this is what we help guys with, and I'm still obviously always trying to finesse and get better, but that sexual drive is gone. So it's really see cool girls, meet them, have that emotional connection. But again, that's reconnecting with that one. I kind of evaluate that every few months, really, what I'm looking for from this.
Yeah.
Because that's a major thing that's going to drive your action, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, it really is. And I think that's something that I need to actually do. Just actually literally sit down and think, okay, what do I really want from this? And then go for that. Because there's no point in sort of half pretending that you don't want to engage at all anymore, and then realizing actually no, not at all, and I would never, that's never been my message or where I'm coming from, right. But then if it's a happy medium, okay, well, how do I achieve the happy medium? You still need to go out, you still need to socialize, you still need to approach, and obviously we have been doing that while we've been here, but have we been taking every single opportunity? I mean, last year when we were in Russia, we were saying before, we were charging around, the whole time, and we didn't have students at that point, so that made things somewhat easier. But I think you've got to be honest with yourself, really, because I think most guys, I think, even guys getting a little bit older, and certainly if any of you younger guys watching this, the reality is you do want to date, you do want these opportunities. So don't sort of pretend to yourself that you don't, and then feel bad about it.
Especially younger guys, super key that you don't just kind of do that thing of trying to cash out your chips before you've actually done anything as an excuse not to take action. You have to go through it. You have to grin and bear it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've come out, you not too recently as well, but speaking for myself, I came out of a situation where I had an emotional connection with someone I'd been on and off with for a long time. So for me, on a personal level, I'm kind of taking a bit of time off that emotional connection vibe, and it's just take time to myself, actually work on those kind of areas of self-love, self-responsibility, self-acceptance, as well as obviously going out and being sociable, having a laugh, and dating here and there, but I'm really not looking for anything more than that. So that's step one.
Well, we've had to take a little bit of a commercial break there because the battery went on the old camera, but we're back now. We've just had a bite to eat, and you were saying, Mr. Tusk.
So we've done the establishing your why. Really important to track that goal setting with this. Remind yourself of your goals. Point 2 is always take the action you feel good from it. This was always about, for me, facing the fear of kind of, things that I felt scared of, which was talking to a hot girl sober, being stifled, kind of that mental imprisonment I created of not being able to talk to other people, low levels of social freedom, lack of being able to banter, flirt, tease, all that stuff. So that's a lifelong skill that will never go away. It's basically learned charm, and it's just applicable to every kind of interaction you want to have, and it's just a more fun way of living life. But facing that fear, it's the whole thing of rejection's better than regret, isn't it? Yeah. If you walk past 10 smokers that deep down you should approach, and you don't approach, not only do you feel like a fucking weasel, because the only person in this life you have to impress really is yourself. It's not about anyone else, but also you end up expending mental energy thinking about what could have been for the next few days. It's just a complete waste of your time. You might as well take the action. Even if you take the action and get blown out 10 times in a row, you still feel good because you took the action, you faced the fear, you jumped into the present. So the outcome really is irrelevant. So that's kind of point 2 about how to break out that lethargy. Yeah. Anything to add to that?
No, I mean, the only thing I would say is, what if the lethargy is caused by the fact that you feel like you can't be bothered? So it's not so much fear, it's just like you feel like, I'm not really fearing it, I just can't be bothered.
Well, yeah, exactly. On that note, this actually came from Mark Manson, which is a brilliant point he made when he did an equation. Most people think that action stems from passion, so you're really passionate about something, which could be the case when you start a new activity. You do have that kind of beginner's kind of oomph to go. But most people get confused and think later on that you need to be passionate about something to take action. You don't. What tends to happen is you're not passionate about something and you take action, you force yourself through because Your feelings are temporary, right? You don't feel like you want to do something. That doesn't mean that's not the right course of action to take. You take the action, and then what happens is passion stems from the action. And we all know this, right? You probably have it a lot with writing, where you try and do anything you can not to write, but you sit down, you do those first 2 minutes, and then you're like, oh well, I'm doing this now, and I feel like you start to build that motivation, the momentum, right? So that's exactly it. Know that by taking the action, you're going to feel better about it, and you're going to want to do it more. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that really is key for the dating stuff, because as I was trying to say earlier, the reality is that all of us want to have some sort of relations with women, right? You know, you may not be running around to the same degree as you were in your 20s, but you still want to have some kind of relations with women, and so you've got to be honest with yourself about that, and then just start taking the action, because once you take the action, then it starts to build on itself. And I've certainly found that, you know, even being somewhere like here, you know, you start to think, I can't really be bothered, but, you know, I need to keep my skill set sharp, because obviously you're tutoring guys and, you know, and all the rest of it. So you start talking to people, and it builds on itself. And you start to enjoy it, and then you start to look forward to doing it, which is great.
Yeah, it will, like most of this stuff, if you can fall in love with the process of socialising, whatever that may be. I was doing a client call with Les earlier today, and the guy would just finished our 10-week course, and he said, the reason I was able to smash it and I really went for it and I'm still really enjoying it is I've gamified it, right? So it's just a game to him. He's not taking rejection personally, and he's flexing, constantly seeing it as an experiment to flex and practice and get better as a human being, and you know, not take it personally. So everyone finds their angle of how you have to kind of make this fun for yourself. But like anything in life, whatever you're choosing to do, you should try and gamify it. You should make it playful, you should make it fun, because that unlocks the subconscious, it unlocks the superconscious, so you're actually speed of learning. And this is talked about a lot by, you'd have seen him pop up on YouTube ads, a guy called Jim Quick, who does sort of accelerated speed learning. This was the language guy I've started to collaborate with, the Spanish teacher who learns and teaches languages in like 6 weeks, said that that's how he's able to learn super fast, right? So if you're going out with the idea if you want to improve your social skills, which will allow you to access anything you can want in life, you know, either by persuading that person to give it to you or persuading that person to teach you, then you'll realise, you can just you unlock the door far faster, right? So being in that playful state, enjoying this, finding ways of making it fun for yourself is super important. That's going to be individualised to every person. But the 3 keys to the kingdom really are: establish your, if you are feeling lethargy from this stuff, establish your why, because with that why you can overcome any what and anyhow. Take the action anyway, because it was always about facing the fear, and you feel far better. Rejection is better than regret, to quote the Red Pill Maestro, the Red Pill Chairman, Mr. Tolo Ramassi. And the third thing is action stems from passion, stems from action, not the other way around. So by taking that action, forcing yourself into it, you're always going to feel better. When we do, we've talked about it many times, when we can't be able to socialise, but then we actually go and do a few approaches, and you just feel warmed up, don't you? We're built to be present. You feel flow state, you feel present, you feel happy, you don't feel depressed. Torero, may he rest in Medellin, used to talk about this as day game is therapy, didn't he?
And like I used to experience this even like a really long time ago, back in the day, with night game, because you know it gets to the end of the evening and you're sort of, do I really have to go out? And I was feeling that, you know, not even now, but even in my 20s sometimes. But then you go out, you start to talk to people, you talk to a few girls and things, and then you're like, actually this is really good, and you get really into it. So, and it's the same thing as like going to the gym. You know, at first I can't be bothered, do a few exercises, and suddenly you've clicked into it.
Completely agree.
It's brilliant.
Take the action. Have it pre-planned into your. We're giving you some bonus tips here, but have it pre-planned into your routine as well. So me and Mr. Francis, we keep saying this, but 1 to 3 situational approaches per day throughout the course of the week. 1 longer session of maybe 90 minutes where you hit maybe 7 to 10 approaches, and then maybe 1 bar game session or night game session for a couple of hours, you know, and then maybe supplement with some stuff online, and that's it. And that's a really active dating life you're leading. You're in the top 0.1% of guys, you know, actually taking consistent action. It's not ball breaking in terms of doing it. It just takes some planning to actually just remember to flick into it.
For sure.
Hope it's been a useful video, guys. We actually kept it quite short, probably around 15 minutes.
So if they want to overcome their dating lethargy and improve on all of these things, what's the best thing they could do? Send us
an email, troy@realtroyfinances.com or info@jamestusk.com, and come and join us in Poland. We're going to be in Warsaw the next few weeks, and Gdansk, and possibly after that Turkey. So if you really can't make it to Poland, Turkey will be the next option for 6 weeks. Obviously lots of hot Russian women over there, lots of hot Ukrainian women in Poland with us. You've got the best of the former Soviet Union, the best of the rest, as well as obviously some very hot Polish women and Turkish women as well. But the main thing to do is get in touch. We'll jump on a call with you. No charge for that, obviously. We'll figure out where you're at and give you advice on how we recommend you get from A to B as quickly as possible, whatever A to B is, depending on your particular circumstances. We will see you in the next video. Any comments for future videos you'd like to see, please post them below and we'll get to them.
Good stuff. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up, write a comment below, and hit subscribe, guys. See you soon.